Hello everybody, I'm Jake P. Sent to JP Films. We have Raw Edit number 5 for you today. I have 5 images to share with you. That wasn't done on purpose with the 5 images on Raw Edit number 5. That just happened to happen. But other than that, let's get into the Raw files. Alright, it is the last week for East Islip Redmond High School 2-a-days. So I was down there taking some shots, taking some video. And we're going to edit the raw files. So these are the 5 images that I picked for you guys today. Obviously in this first image I am very underexposed, so let's go back and fix that because we did shoot raw, so we can fix that. Anyway, here let's go with the contrast as always for me. Bring down my highlights, bring down my whites. Now we can see a lot more detail in the coach and the back of this player here. Not as blown out. Bring up the contrast, not too much. Don't want to overdo it, as well as the vibrancy. I'm going to bring in some of my shadows a little bit as well. There's really not too much that I want to do with this image. I think this is pretty good. And feel free to look in the top left corner to seeing all of my settings I was using in this image. The 100 to 400, please check out the review of that lens in the description below. You go over and watch that. And subscribe to my channel if you want to learn more about photography and video. But back to these raw files. Let's go to the next one. Oh, I didn't show you the before and after. Before, very underexposed. Because we were shooting raw, we brought it back to life. Next. I like this image. It's pretty detailed, and especially with this 5.6, it really blew out the background. And I'm gonna go. There's a couple videos coming up that I think you guys should really take a look into. Things with exposure, the shutter speed, the aperture, and the ISO. And there's going to be another thing on depth of field with depending on what lens we're using, a wide angle lens, telephoto lens. We're going to go over those things in 2 separate videos, so make sure you subscribe to my channel and look for those videos. Anyway, back to the image. I think my exposure is pretty good, so I'm just going to bump up my contrast like this. I don't want to adjust the whites and the highlights too much. I think they're pretty good as is. I'm going to keep the shadows like that too. Bring up the clarity a lot in this one because I really have a nice shiny helmet here. Really brings out the detail in the helmet. And I'm going to bring up the vibrancy just a tad. I'm actually going to crop this. I'm not a big fan of doing crops, but I think I want to get rid of some of that dead space. I really want to focus this on my subject. So there we go. I think that looks pretty good. Let's see the before and after. Boom. Very nice. This is a little flat and a lot of contrast. A lot of people ask me why some people say I over process my images. Sometimes I can kind of see what they're saying, but I like to use a lot of contrast because I really want to make you guys feel like you're in the image that I took. I don't want to hide behind something and make a really flat image. I want you to see it. I want it to stand out. I want your eyes to pop into the image. All right, I'm gonna talk over here for a minute. There are a bunch of different ways to edit. There's no such thing as a wrong way to edit. Everybody has a different style of editing. This is my style. I like to make my colors pop. I like to make you feel like you're in my image. Now, it's not to say that going with an artistic style or anything like that is wrong. It's just different for what I do, and that's just how it is. I'm not a big fan of that Instagram filter, like white overlay kind of style shooting, because it makes me feel like I'm behind something and I'm not actually there in the image. This, I feel like, really makes it stand out and makes you feel like you're actually there, especially with sports photography or something like that. I think that's really important. So let's get back to the images. This was number 2. Moving on to number 3. This is a good shot, I think, as well. I'm kind of disappointed, though. I cut off his foot on the bottom, but we're going to fix that real quick. A little underexposed. I'm going to bring up my exposure. Boom with the contrast. Bring down the highlights and the whites just a little bit. I'm going to bring back some of the detail a little bit here too with the shadow slider. I'm going to bump up my clarity as well as my vibrancy. I'm going to do a little crop here because I don't know what these guys are doing. They just kind of stopped. So I don't really want to see that, and I got to fix the cutting off of the guy's foot. So here we go. Boom. That's a lot better. Really draws you into this action rather than this dead space stuff going on over here. I wanted you to focus more on this. So let's see the before and after. Very flat, a little underexposed, and boom. Really makes you feel like you're there, and we brought it back because of the raw file. Going to the next one. This is taken with the 24 to 105. Let's go down here and do some lens correction to fix that bowing effect that this lens gives. I'm going to do a little crop here because I have a lot of dead space to my left side. And boom, I think that looks a lot better. Now let's go to the contrast slider. Bump it up there. My highlights, I'm going to bring down. And I do like to bring down the highlights, especially when I have a nice blue sky like this, because it makes the clouds stand out better. Let's see. This is what it looked like. I mean, it's not the biggest difference, but when you have a lot more clouds and stuff like that, you really do kind of see a little bit of a difference when you bring down the highlight slider. So I'm going to bring that down, bump up my clarity, as well as my vibrancy. Sorry about that. And this looks pretty good. Maybe just a tad bit warmer. There we go. I think this looks pretty good. I'm just going to adjust my line maybe a little bit here. Yeah, that looks better. What happened? Why is it flat? Whoa, that was weird. Okay, that was interesting. And I'm going to bring the shadows up a little bit. All right, that was weird. I don't know what to say about that. But let's see the before and after. See here, a little flat, maybe a little underexposed, but when we bring up that contrast slider, it does bring it back a little bit more. Very vibrant and very good looking. Next and last image, a very nice detailed shot of the center holding the ball. I love this shot. I do this a lot. I do it often, but I think it's a real easy shot to take, and it looks pretty damn cool, especially when you got all these shadows and stuff going all over the place. I think it looks pretty nice. So let's bump up the contrast. I'm going to leave the highlights where they are. I'm going to leave the shadows where it is too and bump up that clarity as well as that vibrancy. I'm going to bring this down just a little bit, make it a little bit cooler. And I'm also going to adjust my exposure. Boom. Before and after. Flat and boring. Not as flat and boring. A lot better, a lot cooler. So let's go through the full size of these images. This was the last one. Very crisp, very clean. Let's move on to here. Very nice. Nice blue sky and a nice sunny morning. We fixed that foot problem with the crop on this one. It really draws you into the action right in the middle here. Another interesting crop idea for me that I usually don't do, but I like how it kind of turned out. Let me know if you guys like that crop or not. I'm really curious to know. And I think the clarity in this helped really with the shine of the helmet, because you can kind of see the reflecting of the trees and the sky when you do that. And the first one here with the coach talking to his players. I turned down the highlights a lot here so you can see more of the details in his face, because it's a very hot, sunny day shining right on their face. And I think that helped a lot there. And there we go. All right, so there you go, guys. We got 5 images right there that I think that we fixed, and we edited those raw files very nicely. Leave a comment below if you like my editing style, or if you think I should do something different, if I over edit my pictures. But there is no wrong way to edit. It's however you guys feel your images are going to look the best, and it's all personal preference. So thank you guys for watching, and see you later.